Welcome back to another video. We are doing our Smackdown review today. Um, this episode was good. Obviously, Smackdown is being pre-taped for the next 2 weeks because Saudi Arabia is next weekend, and it doesn't make realistic sense to have Smackdown live next week. So, yeah, I'm not gonna reveal the spoilers for the second Smackdown because I'm not gonna do that, and we it just doesn't feel right to me to be posting 2 episodes of SmackDown. That would be too long of a video. But yeah, SmackDown was good last night, and we got a lot of storyline stuff covered up. So to get started, Alba Fire and Isla Dawn had their debut last night. I forget the name of the tag team that they were facing, but it felt like a NXT match. They're an NXT tag team that didn't get called up. But Alba Fire and Isla Dawn, and I also watched the interview that they gave at the end of SmackDown. It's like the SmackDown post show. They are ready for whatever push they're gonna get. Like Alba Fire and Isla Dawn, there's just something special that pops out. They have a great tag team finisher. It's just it just pops off the page that Alba Fire and Isla Dawn are special, and I cannot wait to see maybe Dakota Kai and Io versus Alba Fire and Isla Dawn. That's like a dream match to see Dakota and Isla Dawn in the same ring. It would be really good. So SmackDown actually started off with Roman Reigns coming out with Solo. No Usos in sight because Roman is pissed at the Usos. And basically, Roman's got new merch. I'm not a big fan of the merch. I mean, it's gonna sell like hotcakes, obviously, but I think this is probably not one of his best merch choices here. I've always thought that Roman's merch is one of the best. He has a lot of cool ideas, but yeah. Basically, Sami and KO interrupted before Roman can get a lot of words in. Roman's bragging about everything, and when Sami and KO came into the ring, Roman, and looking like a dictator out here, said that, "Give me the titles. I want them. Drop them." And Sami and KO aren't gonna do that. Sammy came at Roman. He's like, the Usos are better than you and stuff like that, and I love this. I mean the callbacks to their previous rivalries and stuff. That I absolutely love this. I mean, instead of like Sammy and KO interacting with Roman like he's never seen him before, they're talking about their previous rivalry and stuff. And the storyline after tonight for me has picked up tremendously, and Roman just couldn't deal with it. Sammy and KO just know everything about Roman by now, to the point where Roman is annoyed by it, and Roman just wanted to leave the ring, and he ran right in the Solo, and it's you can see in Roman's eyes. I have never seen Roman look down someone like that in my life, and Roman looked legitimately scared. I don't think this is gonna set up a match. Absolutely not. I still think if Solo's gonna face Roman, it's a while away from now. But it's just pure cinema in the way that Roman just wants to get out of Dodge. He's sick of seeing Sami and KO, and Solo's like even Solo's like, "You're kind of out of control, man. Like, what are you doing?" Like Solo's like, "Am I just become the most calmest man in the bloodline?" That kind of stuff. And it didn't end there. Backstage, Roman Reigns, the Usos were sitting down, and Roman was not happy. I've never seen Roman this angry in a long time. Basically berating the Usos. Usos came out without Roman's permission, and the Usos just know they are screwed. Top to bottom, they know they are screwed. And I want to give this a key point here. Solo is staring Roman down. Solo don't forget. So he's not going to forget Roman just bumped into him like he was nothing. But the amount of storytelling that's going into this is like, I know there are great storytelling for other rivalries, but they are just really just, you can tell how much detail that's going into this one. And the turn is like close. It's happening. It could happen in Night of Champions. Who knows? Next up, we had Pretty Deadly making their SmackDown debut. One of my favorite tag teams, potentially my favorite NXT debut. Pretty Deadly debuted. They faced the Brawling Brutes on SmackDown. And the match was good. I mean, I really enjoyed it. Pretty deadly. You knew they had to pull out some tactics to win. So and they did. They one of them, Elton Prince, I believe it was, pretended to get stuck on the ropes, and they delivered spilt milk, and they won their debut, which I was expecting. I was really hoping they would win, though. Against the Brawling Brutes, you never know. But it was a great match. I really enjoyed it. They have crushed it with these NXT debuts so far, treating them like they are. I don't think someone called out from NXT should lose their debut, not by a long shot. And Pretty Deadly ended up winning. Next up, we had Zelina Vega versus Asuka. This match was kind of announced late, but it is great. Zelina and Asuka, two of the premier stars on SmackDown. Zelina just recently came off Backlash, and Asuka, this is our first match on SmackDown, and Asuka just had to win. The match was pretty good. It went longer than I thought it was going to go, but Asuka put in the Asuka lock, and it was over. Zelina hit her 619 Miriota, didn't win, but Asuka winning was obvious because she's facing her Bianca at Clash of the Castle, or not Clash of the Castle, what am I talking about, at Night of Champions. But, Bianca came out to save Zelina after Asuka wouldn't let go, and Asuka brought that missed out again, Bianca looking embarrassed. I mean, the build is obviously indicating that Bianca's going to win, but I would love Asuka to win. Bianca's already broken the record, I believe, for Raw Women's Champion reigns. And I see a lot of people floating around that she could break Trish's reign. She absolutely does not need that, in my opinion. But moving on now, we had the Grayson Waller effect by AJ Styles. And the fact that they kept the setup for the Grayson Waller effect and kept Grayson Waller's comment section down below really tells you that Triple H is in charge, and really tells you that Vince isn't running the ship. Because you know that if Waller debuted on SmackDown, he would just be standing in the ring with a mic without any aesthetic. But I love the Grayson Waller aesthetic. AJ Styles was answering some questions, and Grayson Waller basically said, yeah, Seth Rollins is winning. And Waller and Styles stared each other down. This match will definitely happen at some point. I don't know if it's not supposed to happen next week. I'm just going to give an early spoiler that Waller and Styles is not happening next week. Styles versus Karrion Kross, though, is happening next week. But Waller versus Styles definitely looks like it's going to happen after Night of Champions at some point, and I'm very happy about that. Because, I mean, this is the match that they had in NXT was banging. Next up, we had LA Knight and Rick Boogs tagging up. I thought it was hilarious. I don't mind Rick Boogs as a personality, but the crowd just loves LA Knight. By now, I mean, this dude's basically on babyface level in terms of crowd cheering. But LA Knight, they're writing LA Knight. I always have my reserves about LA Knight. He shouldn't have been drafted to Raw. But, I don't mind this. Street Profits won against Rick Boogs and LA Knight. That was to be expected. The match wasn't long or anything. And the Street Profits, I don't know what's going to happen with the Street Profits on SmackDown. But hopefully they don't get put in this rivalry for too long. LA Knight also attacked Rick Boogs, which was expected from LA Knight. According to what I read, it was only supposed to be a one-show thing. So there you go. And LA Knight versus Rick Boogs is probably going to happen. LA Knight will probably beat Rick Boogs, hopefully. And then we need that LA Knight push. Money in the Bank is the next show after Night of Champions. We need this LA Knight push to happen soon, because Money in the Bank is going to be here before you know it. So, next up, we got a very interesting thing. We got a match announced on Raw in 2 weeks. Because Liv Morgan's injury is not kayfabe, it's legitimate. And I believe it was due to Raquel, not Dakota Kai. They showed footage of Dakota Kai. WWE has always done this where they don't show exactly where the injury happened. They showed maybe a move from the match that is brutal looking. And, fans are already blaming Dakota Kai. It's the IWC. You can't really help their mental illness. But in 2 weeks, and I will be at that show, so I will be front and center to see this. Raquel and a mystery partner will be facing Ronda and Shayna. Bayley and Io Sky are making their way to Raw again. And Sonya Deville and Chelsea. This match is low-key if this match is given time, it's gonna bang. This match looks good on paper. I know the winners are probably gonna be Ronda and Shayna, but low key, this match can be great. I'm not gonna spoil the partner for Raquel because it wouldn't make sense, but yeah, this match has a chance to be really, really good. And Raw's a 3-hour show, so why not give this match time? Next up, we had Austin Theory in the ring for a promo. It was like very weird, late in the show. Theory was talking about how he beat legends and another modern day legend, I guess you can call him. Sheamus, who watched the Braun Brutes lose, came in. And before Theory even elaborated, Sheamus dropped the mic, bro kicked Theory. And Theory versus Sheamus rivalry, I dig it. I love it. I mean, this is it's great stuff. I think this could be a great rivalry. But yeah, next week on SmackDown, Theory versus Sheamus for the U.S. title. I don't know why it didn't happen at Night of Champions. I think that WWE, I think I'm realizing the Triple H era, Triple H doesn't want a lot of matches per show, which I'm fine with. I had some people on Twitter kind of put me in my place there. But, Theory versus Sheamus, I don't suspect that this match is going to last long because the show is already stacked for next week. But hopefully it'll be good. But Raquel was going to do an interview. Bayley and Io Sky making an appearance on SmackDown. And Bayley's got a shirt with 3 Dakota Kais. This is probably the best piece of merch I've ever seen. Like, if this goes on sale, I am going to spend whatever amount of money I need to on shipping and handling on this shirt. And Io, for the first time, Io kind of looks happy to be in Damage Control. But, I'm assuming that Io's just happy that she's got the title shot with Bayley. That's going to be interesting to see in person, the whole Bayley and Io thing playing out. I would love them to win, but I know for a fact that they are not winning. I would love them to win for Dakota Kai, whose injury is also legitimate, but they don't really give a timeline. Liv is supposed to be out for a while. They don't give a indication of Dakota's. But, yeah, I think this was a good promo here, just building up the women's tag team title match for 2 weeks. Next up, we had the main event, the Usos and the LWO. Great main event. This exceeded expectations. I mean, the LWO were great, but this was a great match. And this really gives a testament to Santos, how great he is, and how the Usos can turn any match into great. The Usos were about to win, and then KO and Sami wanted to further the pain. Roman was watching. You knew that Roman was watching this match. I knew from the very beginning when this match was announced, Roman was about to be watching. But, yeah, LWO ended up winning. This is a massive win. I mean, over the Usos, it doesn't matter if Sami and KO were involved. This is a massive stake win for LWO. Should push them in the hunt for maybe tag team gold to bring the LWO. But it was a great match. LWO winning got a huge crowd pop because maybe they were expecting the Usos to win. And Roman's face says it all. Roman and Solo are pissed off. The Usos are on a losing streak now. And Roman and Solo are like, they're going to learn next week. That's basically what Roman said. And yeah, if some people in the crowd that were there, they DM'd me that they said this promo next week is intense. And I mean, obviously, because Roman, at the end of this show, Roman and Solo look like they don't want to just talk. They want to kick the Usos' head in. But yeah, all that will be answered on next week's SmackDown. Overall, this week's episode of SmackDown was really, really good. Enjoyed it all. Treating the NXT stars right. Banger main event. Theory and Sheamus is great as well, and already a nice build up to the women's tag team title match, which if as long as Ronda and Shayna don't squash anybody, it should be great. But I'm just hoping that, judging by the booking of the women's division lately, I don't have high hopes for that match in 2 weeks, but we'll wait and see. With that being said, that's it for the review of SmackDown, and I will see you guys on the next video.